It's time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
At this point, we have a sentence, 50 months, which equals 4 years, 2 months. Now, the prosecution had asked for 11 years or 135 months. The defense was saying no more than 14 months which would have gotten Combs out this year. But right now, we know he's going to spend several years behind bars. Your reaction to this verdict?
He should be ecstatic. Sean Combs, considering this courthouse, this prosecution team, these charges, where he was a year and a month ago when he got arrested, and where he is right now, he should be ecstatic. Nobody wants to be in prison, but today's prison sentence could have been decades, literally decades. He was facing a sentence of like life in prison, and now, let's see, he's got 14 real months in. That's really going to count for like a year and a half. With the programming that he'll get, he could be in a halfway house in 2 years, in 24 months.
But look at the wording that was of interest, how the judge was pretty much admonishing him, taking into account that the judge felt that he had not shown any remorse, like that Combs cried on the stand before, like that. How effective do you think that was playing a part in this?
My uneducated guess is that the judge knew exactly what he was doing before he walked into that courtroom today, that he let everyone have their speech. Everyone, this went on. Normally these things are an hour and a half. We've been here for 8 hours, yeah. Right? I was on with Rosanna this morning and Kurt, and I said it's going to be somewhere, I said, plus or minus 5. A little bit.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, so the Diddy trial and the Diddy sentencing has now come to an end. Many of us across the country, and a lot of us in the African-American community who watched Diddy grow up and evolve on the hip-hop scene to one of the biggest rap moguls in history, were glued to our sets watching the trial, every aspect of this case. Now it has come to an end. The judge in this case, in all honesty, could have hammered Diddy. The jury in this trial could have sent Diddy away for life, but the jury did not buy many of the arguments and the over-prosecution and overcharging of the prosecutors in this case. The judge showed Diddy leniency, but based on some of the judge's comments, it appears to me that the judge was really disgusted about how he physically treated Cassie and another female witness in this case. And so I believe he was more punished, not for a conviction of prostitution, because the man was more of a porn star involved in self-made pornography than prostitution, because he didn't profit from it. And no one profited from it that was engaged in the act with him. But Diddy, to me, was punished for being a horrible boyfriend. And I think the judge took it upon himself to not let Diddy get away for what he did to Cassie physically, like the state did on the state level and sent him to prison.
He absolutely got away with it. I think your description of prostitution and him, he wasn't charged with being a pimp. He was charged with transporting people across state lines, or he was convicted of transporting people across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. It doesn't mean you're necessarily a pimp. It means that you were transporting property. If you're doing it for yourself, for your own benefit, which is what he was doing.
That's the definition of a pimp.
He was right, but he wasn't charged with being a pimp. He was charged with transporting prostitutes. You can do it for your own gratification. And in his weird, disgusting world of paying people and transporting them to have sex with women in his life that he was probably coercing. But when you're sentencing someone, you have to look holistically at the life they led. Diddy got up there and cried. Can I say the word that starts with B and rhymes with itch? Pretended that he felt all this remorse that he showed nothing of during the trial or prior to the trial, right? And they put witnesses on the stand. He was using his children as a vehicle, which I thought was incredibly tacky. He did apologize to his mother and children. A lot of the stories coming out about his relationship with his mother suggest that there was some strange things going on, but it all seemed to be an insincere production of a man that, and I don't use the word gangsterism as people will use it to refer to African American criminals. I'm more talking about mafia type, the concept of the classic gangster from the 30s and 40s mobster movies.
And you think Diddy was a gangster?
I think absolutely. You go all the way back to the gun incident.
Stop.
No, I'm going to finish my thought. You don't get to tell me to stop. You go all the
Diddy gangster?
You go all the way back. I mean,
Diddy gangster.
He didn't look like a gangster in that courtroom.
You mean Suge Knight?
But it Suge much worse.
Really?
But if you go back and you look at the gun incident with J-Lo in the club, people having like Mace leaving New York because of security concerns. You look at the assassination of Tupac. You look at all these things that the beefs that swirled around Sean Combs, the people that he excommunicated from his life, the stories.
Rightfully so, like he should have, because many men that are worth the amount of money he was worth, you might want to get rid of a lot of people that's around you because they'll bring you down or won't correct you when you deserve to be corrected.
To get rid of a woman, you don't have to crawl up on top of her and punch her in the face repeatedly because she was
that was
too
evil.
long. Yeah,
that was an evil act,
But that was just the one time there happened to be a camera there. If you listen to the testimony both during trial, the statements given, there was one that was too afraid to give her statement in court.
Allegedly too afraid. Maybe her civil attorney said, if you don't testify, we can do a better deal in your civil proceeding and get you a bigger settlement. Because the same woman you're talking about who was beaten by Diddy, she didn't go to the police. She asked for $35 million. So let's stop that now, because the women who were beat by Diddy didn't seek prosecution. They sought financial restitution.
Actually, they did, right?
Not Cassie. She didn't seek to have him charged criminal.
And going after someone like him in the incredibly corrupt state system that is Manhattan and New York, against someone so famous, so rich, so powerful. He chose gangsterism over incredible
studio
success.
Gangster or gangsterism?
No, gangsterism.
Because there's two distinct differences.
I know you're trying to paint
He ain't no gangster.
This whitewash.
P. Diddy ain't never been no gangster.
Maybe not
He's
whitewash.
not La Cosa Nostra. He's not the Gambino crime family.
Okay.
That's not the Bonanno crime family. He's from New York, but he damn sure ain't no gangster. Stop that.
Okay. His behavior, his violent behavior towards men and women, his drugging people, and the incredible
allegedly drugging people. The jury didn't buy that lie.
Okay.
The jury rejected those lies.
Okay. Again, he is a horrible human being that had every luxury, every opportunity, every ability to choose not to be a horrible human being, to choose not to be a predator, to choose not to. I mean, the stories, you're acting like you don't remember them.
Oh, I remember very well.
The licking the semen off just incredibly.
But here's my problem, Charles, as I've said to you before. How can you have a freak off, one, by yourself? Mm-hmm. Two, how can you, U.S. attorneys, charge this man with the RICO Act, but yet he's the only one put on trial? Come on, Charles. You and I both know RICO was put in place for terrorists and Gambino-type crime family members, real mafiosos. When you put them on trial, you put all of them on trial. He was the only one put on trial, as though he's the only one in the freak-off. Come on now. The jury didn't even buy Cassie was a victim. The jury rejected Cassie as being a victim and saw her as a willing participant.
Incredibly misogynistic worldview.
The jury rejected that, Charles.
You said, and when we talked about this before, you said they should have been, Cassie should have been, prosecuted right along.
I absolutely agree. Because that's why the jury rejected her testimony, and that's why the jury did not buy her testimony. And she was a co-conspirator more than a victim in the freak-offs.
Your mindset.
Now, she was a victim in being beaten, but in the freak-offs, testimony showed she liked the freak-offs. Testimony showed she was setting the freak-offs up. Testimony showed that she was telling the people who was sex industry workers what she wanted, and how she liked it. That's a fact.
Your mindset is the same mindset that leads women, rape victims in Saudi Arabia and Iran and Iraq to be prosecuted for being victimized, right?
In America, too.
Well, no, we don't.
You got women right here that's been raped by men. When they try to file charges, there are no charges. Just 5 years, not even 5 years ago, just 4 years ago in Houston, Texas, they had thousands of rape investigations and rape kits that were never tested, never investigated, and thrown out. So don't you dare pretend like it's only in Saudi Arabia, in Iraq, and over in the Middle East. That's right here in Houston, Texas.
You're doing a great job yelling, but I'm talking about two very different things. So obviously, the former chief of police here in Houston did a horrible job stewarding his department. He was an incredible failure, and he allowed his rank and file to use the excuse of manpower to let known victim cases go uninvestigated. Right, it's disgusting. but that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the misogynistic worldview that you see in places like that are pervasive, that control the justice
You mean
system.
Donald Trump?
And again,
When
they
he talk
control
about
the
grabbing the
justice.
poo nannies of married women. When
Okay.
Donald Trump say he likes to grab the poo nannies of married women and they like it, you mean
Well,
Mr. Trump?
that whole, I'm not defending Trump, but if you look at the entire quote, which you are completely misrepresenting, it was far more akin to women that were attracted to him, and that's what.
Married
but
women,
still,
he said.
Again, no, not.
He
in that
did say
extent.
married women.
But hold on. Okay, you keep interrupting me because you don't want to talk about the truth.
I'm sorry.
You
forgive
don't want
me.
to talk about the truth. The
But go ahead and
truth
defend
is
Trump.
That I'm not here to defend Trump. I'm here to talk about Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, and the fact that he is a human stain, right? And that he beat and abused Cassie, and like he did to many women, and pushed them into these horrible acts, right? And then when they going along with their abusive, controlling monster of a man, you're sitting there saying she should have been a criminal defendant, and it is the same sort of mindset that has rape victims being prosecuted. Again, as I said, in Saudi Arabia, across the Islamist world, right? This is you.
We just
saying,
talked about a Christian world case right here in America, in Houston, Texas, where thousands of women were ignored, complaints thrown in the garbage can, along with the rape kits.
We didn't talk about it.
But that's
you
a
did.
Christian.
You brought it up as a
in.
smoke screen.
Islam ain't got a damn thing to do with what we're talking about right now. You just brought that in because you hate Muslims.
No, I don't like your women-hating worldview.
No, you just hate Muslims.
Absolutely not. I hate Islamists.
Islamophobia.
I hate radical Islamists.
Bigotry.
I love Muslim people.
Ain't got nothing to do with this.
I love anyone that their religion allows them to tolerate
Muslims.
other religions.
That's like the wolves and they love the sheep.
But again, the difference between the situation in Houston, which was horrible, and this situation is you, much like in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, you believe women who are victimized should be prosecuted.
I don't believe that lie.
That's what you just said.
That's
you said Cassie should have been prosecuted.
That's the white lie
She's
you
a
want to
victim.
paint.
What lie?
I said the jury, which spoke in this case in the Diddy trial,
you literally just sat on this show and said she should have been prosecuted
They
too.
also rejected her being a victim.
Okay.
And some of the jurors who spoke afterwards stated that they saw her more as a
those of y'all
co-conspirator.
that can rewind to where he said she should have been prosecuted.
What the jurors said about Cassie's testimony. And some of the jurors said they saw her more as a co-conspirator than a victim in the freak-offs.
Yes or
but
no?
she was a victim in being beaten, which was horrible and atrocious by Diddy, but they saw her as more of a willing participant in testimony
so
that
do you
came out
think
during the trial.
she should have been prosecuted with him or not?
I
Because you just said she should have.
Cassie and others in the freak-offs should have been prosecuted. The same way I believe that Epstein was not the only one, and his assistant was the only one who should have been prosecuted in that case.
I agree, but
See,
again,
I'm sick and tired of all of these rich folk and powerful people who involved in these freak-offs with Diddy, with Epstein, can get away with it, prosecute the small people, or one person, or grab one big person, and everybody else walk away.
Oh, the billionaire Sean Diddy Combs, the small person.
But what about
Why do you
Prince
lie
Andrew?
so much?
What about
Why
Prince
do you lie
Andrew?
so much?
Prince Andrew went to the Epstein Island, etc. case. Trump don't want to show what he did to Epstein Island, and guess what? Now it's coming out.
Should I explain?
Now it's
to
coming
you?
out
Should I
that they're
explain to you?
saying that Epstein was really using the island and recording the activity on the island as a method to blackmail politicians and
Well, they've
powerful
been saying
people.
that for a while. But, you know, you love to bring up other subjects instead of talking about the subject.
Well, that's what you did when you brought up Islam.
No. You brought up how Cassie should be prosecuted.
And you brought up Islam. I ain't got nothing to do with this.
Because that's exactly the same mindset.
No, that's
it's
just
the
that
horrible,
phobia you got against
sexist,
Muslims.
misogynistic mindset that victims of crimes against women should be prosecuted. It's disgusting. Your position on it is disgusting, right? But if you want to talk about it, I'll explain Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew has diplomatic immunity, right? It sucks. He should have been prosecuted.
You believe that lie?
Well, he does have. It's not a lie.
If the United
I know in
States
your
government-
world you lie all the time, so it gets blurry.
If the United States government wanted to prosecute him, they would find a loophole around that diplomatic immunity, and they would damn sure prosecute him.
Exist.
And you know what they would do?
Let me explain more.
They would pull his visa and disallow him from coming into this country.
Let me explain
but
more.
he can still come and go.
You don't see him coming and
But
going.
he can.
Okay, let me explain more. In the United Kingdom, terrifyingly, members of the royal family cannot be prosecuted for crimes.
Jesus Christ.
It's insane. I find diplomatic immunity to be an antiquated concept. We've seen abuses from very rich, powerful people. There There was a Saudi like 15th in line that killed someone in Los Angeles driving crazy. We saw an American diplomat kill someone in Scotland driving crazy and get out of the country, or the wife of a diplomat. There is absolutely no doubt that Prince Andrew should be prosecuted, but equally, first off, Sean Diddy Combs, not the little guy, not the fall guy. He was the architect. He was the ultimate bad guy. I don't think he would have ever been prosecuted but for the horrible video of him beating Cassie. But if you think that's the only time he beat Cassie, I've got a bridge to sell you in Arizona.
I don't
he
think
is
so,
a monster who abused women, who abused men, who threatened people with just such wanton disregard for the law throughout his life. Why? Because my original point, he's a gangster.
I got a question for you.
Yes?
You brought up Saudi, you brought up Iraq and Iran.
Well, I brought it in comparison to your misogynistic worldview, which finds its roots in the same belief system.
Let's talk about something.
Sure.
One of the biggest financial investors in America right now is Dubai.
Okay.
But do you know, or do you believe that the American government is unaware of the sex trafficking, prostitution of American young women in Dubai?
It's horrible.
Do you think the American government is unaware of what those men in Dubai are trafficking women from America, beating those women, abusing those women, defecating on those women, defecating their mouths, peeing on them, sticking poles up their rectums? You think the American government and the FBI is unaware of what's happening in Dubai with American women? Why in the hell the government ain't done something about that?
You have more insight into, I know that you've had business associates from the UAE and people that you know. What is it with all the crapping on people? Like, what is that about?
Let me tell you what it is. It's almost like a master-slave relationship. It's where the man exhibits total beastly control over the female. And a lot of the women are lured there with the money invite, that you come for a day or 2 days, we're going to give you $75,000 to $100,000. But when they get there, this is what the women don't know. The American rights you have in America don't transform and follow you into Dubai. When you get into Dubai, you have to live by their laws, their rights that don't favor women. And what happens is these women are not even allowed to raise their voices to men in Dubai.
Right, that's what I was talking about.
I've had a case where a black woman from Houston,
if you get raped, you're the criminal,
was put in jail for just raising her voice to a man who had disrespected her.
You talking about the woman in the airport going crazy?
No, not her. This was the woman at the rental car agency.
Oh, that's what I mean, the rental car agency at the airport, yeah.
But Charles, let me say this. You think
she was acting kind of crazy, though.
But you think the FBI and the American government is unaware of what's happening?
No, of course not. I mean, of course they are.
Why did they not do nothing?
Well, because it's...
That's real human trafficking. That's real human trafficking.
Sean Diddy Combs, I firmly believe that Diddy was so rich and so powerful that if it weren't for the video of him beating Cassie, I don't think he ever gets prosecuted. I think there has to be a catalyst now, because we're living in this post-justice world, right? You had the mayor.
What you're saying is true.
I mean, you had the mayor, a mayor in the Pacific Northwest. I think it was Portland, not Seattle. That talked about, even if you're convicted 7 or 8 times, I'm still want to look at for violent offenses why you committed these crimes, and he never mentioned the victims. You have the incident where she's very upset. You had the African American pro-life activist get beaten on camera by a pro-choice activist, and Alvin Bragg, the DA in Manhattan, just let the case go, right? Just let it. It didn't file some stuff, and it got dismissed as a matter of law. You had the
what about the
white activist who was assaulted by the Antifa guys last week. That Trump's going to start an investigation, but it's all on video, and they arrest the conservative guy. It's because now even law enforcement is performative nonsense. Right? No, I don't miss the point.
You made a point. You made a valid point, and you went away from a valid point.
No,
though.
it's all my points are valid.
I'm gonna help you with your point.
Oh, well, you gotta help me.
You are right when you say
I'm right about everything. I know it's frustrating for you.
What arrogance of you, sir.
Okay.
You're right when you say if the video of him beating Cassie had not come out, he would not have been prosecuted.
Right. That was the trigger.
There's 2 other cases we can talk about.
Okay.
You remember the running back for Baltimore, Jamal Lewis?
With the punch on the
elevator?
Yeah, the punch on the elevator.
Remember, they was going to dismiss it and let him play in the NFL. Then the video was leaked.
Right.
His career was destroyed. Right. Then they moved forward with the prosecution.
That was a sick punch.
You with me? Now, here's another one. Jonathan Majors. Our brother in New York. Remember with the video?
No, I remember
showed
Jonathan
him
Majors.
when he was running from the.
He was not the victim,
and she was chasing him. But the bottom line is the jury charged him, went ahead and prosecuted him when the video was leaked.
Right.
You with me? So it is true.
Media attention.
It is true
often
what you're
is
saying
the only
about,
thing to get a DA's office or a police department to do their jobs when they used to do their jobs as a matter of course, right? Victims have been abandoned, and they've been abandoned under the masquerade of criminal justice reform, right? We are telling, and really, what I believe is this has been sold to the black community as criminal justice reform to benefit black communities and brown communities across this country. But the truth is, it is law-abiding, rule-following black Americans, law-abiding, rule-following Latino Americans, those that suffer the most crime, that are being abandoned by our system, okay? And it's being framed as reform, and it's just allowing the government. It's allowing the government not to do their damn job.
I advocated for bail reform.
Well, you needed bail reform on misdemeanors.
I led protest marches in support of bail reform.
That reform was needed.
But I sure as hell did not protest and participate in marches for bail reform to have a man that's convicted of 2 homicides and then go back on another aggravated assault and get another bond. I damn sure didn't advocate for a man that's raping children giving PR bonds.
Well, let's look at the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has become so politically correct. You know, you don't have the same right to bail there. People routinely sit and wait.
Well, you don't have freedom of speech.
But hold on, yeah. But a man whose name was Jihad, accused of rape, arrested for rape, cut free, and then goes and commits a terror event last week, right? I mean, we have these different rules. You have people, you have Islamists running around with signs saying behead the infidel in the United Kingdom, but if a Christian types
you got Christians right in America. What's the KKK?
Yeah.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.